Anyway, I'm reading the Washington Post yesterday, and they published this long column about Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. Now, you know, Justin Fairfax has been alleged of raping two women in his younger days when he was in college at Duke, and then another time when he was on the campaign trail for Obama or whatever he was doing. But so he's been accused of that, hasn't been charged. The Republicans trying to give him a hearing, and he's not going to resign. He says he hasn't been charged with anything, and he's not going to resign. He's probably going to run for governor, and he should have due process and all that, right? And he's part of the Three Stooges in Richmond. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, John, why should I care about anything the Washington Post says other than Laura Vizela? Well, even though it's filled with fake news from the swamp and its only value could be the bottom of the birdcage, normally I might agree with you, except if it's Laura Vizela. Read her. She's really, really good. But there's a guest column from Norm Leahy, a conservative contributor who publishes a regular column in the Post. He was originally part of Bearing Drift. He's a good guy. But his latest piece raises a couple of questions. One, the Republicans under Kirk Cox have asked for a hearing for Justin Fairfax, basically for the two women that have accused Fairfax of rape. And this is not sexual assault. This is rape. They've accused him of this. No charges brought. All alleged, right? So my position from the beginning has been you need due process. And so far, Mr. Fairfax hasn't been allowed that. So now the Republicans are calling again for a hearing for the two women, and they want to give Justin Fairfax due process, but Eileen Filler-Corn and Caucus of the Corn says no, it's going to turn into a sideshow because the Democrats don't want anything to do with Fairfax or Northam. He's a disaster. They don't want anything to do with him or Herring. Sexual misconduct. One of them, though, somebody texted me and says it's not rape. One of them accused him of rape. I mean, it's right publicized. One of them, I think the one from college, from Duke, didn't accuse him of sexual misconduct. I got a text from somebody. They accuse him of rape. That was in their press release. I'm just reading this stuff. Now, I don't know what he did or didn't do, and it's all alleged, but there was an accusation of rape, not sexual misconduct, from the young lady at Duke when he was in college, and she put that in a press release. So now they want this trial, I guess, or this hearing, or whatever they want to call it, and Eileen Filler-Corn of Caucus of the Corn says no, it's going to turn into a sideshow. So I've been thinking about this. Number one, is there any benefit to Republicans to hold a show trial to get testimony from the two women that have accused the lieutenant governor of sexual misconduct, allegedly other things back in 2000 and 2004? You know, I think the Republicans' position is let's give the women a hearing, right? That's what the Democrats have said. Women should be heard. And I agree with that. I also believe that Justin Fairfax should receive due process. But Democrats are forcing a special session on Republicans as a way to score political points from a tragedy. Now, look at what the Democrats have did. They're forcing a special session because of a horrific tragedy in Virginia Beach. Now, the Democrats with this so-called special session have two goals, right? They want to pass through laws that restrict the Second Amendment, which are going to be rejected right now because the Republicans control right now both chambers. And if they can't do that, they're going to blame conservatives for failing to do anything and use it on the campaign trail in 2019 to attempt to take power. As an added bonus, that just comes out of the blue here, this special session that the Democrats and Governor Tunnels, Ralph Northam, has called for, takes the focus off the blackface scandals, Justin Fairfax, Governor Tunnels, Governor Moonwalk, crying Mark Herring. Oh, I'm so sorry I did blackface. It's been on my mind. I've not slept in 30 years since I did it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Mark Herring. That's overshadowed what is actually going on here. Now, after their redistricting appeal got rejected by the Supreme Court on Monday, which I predicted it would because Clarence Thomas doesn't want anything to do with it. So that's rejected. Now they have to live with that map until the new one Virginia map is done in a few years after that passes. But after their redistricting appeal was rejected, House Republicans need their own distraction for the hearings, right? So we got a special section. So we've got, first of all, there shouldn't even be a special session because there's no emergency to have it, but the Democrats called it. So they want their clown show. They don't want to talk about blackface and Governor Tunnels and Justin Fairfax. So they don't want that. So now the Republicans counter with their own distractions, calling on hearings about 15-year-old allegations against Justin Fairfax when the Democrats are trying to paint conservatives into a corner on gun control that fits their agenda politically. So we have two dueling sideshows here. The gun sideshow, the Governor Tunnel sideshow, the Moonwalk sideshow, and now the Justin Fairfax hearing circus, all in one special session. Now, let me just ask you this. Democrats skewer Republicans anytime there's a hint of scandal or controversy involving any single Republican or conservative they don't like. Anyone. It doesn't matter. They skewer them. Justice Kavanaugh, they destroyed the man's name. Didn't care that he was innocent. Didn't care that the accuser couldn't remember the details, couldn't remember the house, couldn't remember the address, couldn't remember anything. Nobody could remember anything. No witnesses, no corroborating witnesses. Didn't matter. The woman, Dr. Ford, was telling the truth. And so they destroyed this man. Luckily, enough Republican senators stuck with him, as they should have. But remember what they did to him. And don't even get me started on President Trump and all the stuff they've done to him. Unfounded accusations, Russian collusion, obstruction of justice, and all the other nonsense. So you would think, okay, turnabout is fair play. Let's just turn the thing around and give the Democrats a taste of their own medicine. But two wrongs don't make a right. Now, number one, people who make accusations should be heard. But the last time I checked, the legal standard in this country is innocent until proven guilty. And just because someone claims something is true, that doesn't automatically mean it is, as our friend and fellow WJFN show host and soon-to-be state senator is quoted saying on the radio in his column over and over and over and over. Now, I'm no fan of Justin Fairfax's policies. None. And I voted for Joe Vogel for lieutenant governor. So I'm not a Fairfax fan politically. But Fairfax has vehemently denied the accusations against him. And he deserves due process just like Judge Kavanaugh did. Now, he's called on the prosecutors of these various districts who are best positioned to investigate the claims of his accusers to do exactly that. And he's testified under oath, and he's taken a lie detector test. Look, folks, I don't know what happened there. All I know is two things. He's called for the prosecutors to initiate a case against them, not politicians in Richmond. Prosecutors. So far, they've failed to do so. I don't know why. Here's the other thing I know. Defense attorney Joe Morrissey said if he was Fairfax's lawyer and charges were brought against him, that he would get him off in a nanosecond based on his 40 years of lawyering on both sides, defense and prosecutor. He says there's no evidence. It's all conflicting. He would never be convicted. So that's number two, which brings us back to the column that Norm Leahy argued, that holding a show trial into the unproven allegations against Fairfax is not going to accomplish anything except making both sides look bad and political. The House Republicans conducting the proceedings with Justin Fairfax there is of no value to me. And we have to start to get serious about this stuff. All they're going to do is create another embarrassing spectacle for Virginia. Ralph Northam and Mark Herring blackface controversies have already given us enough scandals. Aren't we done with these scandals? I got to tell you, if you really think that Republicans are going to win in 2019 based on blackface, you're dreaming, okay? The Democrats have moved past the three clowns in state government. They've moved past it. I saw it Saturday night. They don't care. They're not depressed. They're giving money. They're not staying home. So the Republicans are going to have to go out and beat these people on the issues if they want to maintain control of one or both houses. Conservatives would be very wise and thoughtful to avoid the risk of holding a show trial because at the end of the day, they're going to end up with egg on their faces. This is of no value. This is a waste of time. And I'm a big supporter of Kirk Cox, and I believe that he has earned the speakership for another term, and I think he's going to end up with 51 or 52 seats and maintain the speaker's gavel. But this is another sideshow. Two wrongs, ladies and gentlemen, don't make a right. Justin Fairfax, whatever you think of him politically, whatever you think he did or didn't do, we have a country that its cornerstone of the justice system is due process. He has not gotten due process. And he has sat there and told the prosecutors to go ahead and convict him, and they haven't done it. And now we're going to have a sideshow in Richmond for what purpose? So we can even look stupider? Makes no sense. Look, if you're still unconvinced, think of it this way. As Trump supporters, we know that after the Mueller report, the Democrats in Congress have no business still trying to impeach the president. No business, but they're still doing it, and we complain about that. He beat Hillary. They're sore losers. They can't get over it. So they want to somehow discredit his presidency. If conservatives are smart, they'll allow duly elected prosecutors to investigate the accusations against Justin Fairfax. You can't have it both ways. Either you believe in due process for Trump and you believe in the rule of law, or you don't. And so Justin Fairfax has not received due process. And having a sideshow in Richmond during a special session is insane. Like, why would you do that? Do you want to argue the gun legislation that the whack job Democrat left-wing crackpots are going to try to put together on this special session? Argue the merits of that. Why gum that up with this ridiculous sideshow on Justin Fairfax, who the prosecutors won't even take the case so far? Nothing has been done. If they take it, he says, go forward. Morrissey says he can't be convicted. This makes no sense. Trust voters to be the judge and jury of the lieutenant governor in 2021 if he decides to run for re-election or run for governor. Let the voters decide, not some ridiculous sideshow in Richmond that has no value. John Fredericks Radio Network, trucking the truth.